And welcome here to Talk FCB and welcome back here to the channel, guys. We are going to be reviewing the game between Las Palmas and Barcelona. And I have to admit, as all of you guys know, as a lot of you probably expected, I did not expect to be sitting here this evening reviewing this game and reviewing it as drop points in La Liga. We have drawn tonight 1-1 with 18th place Las Palmas. And I'm really shocked this has happened. That's just their 20th point of the season. Absolutely incredible. They have pulled off a massive shock result here, and I have to say there's two reasons that I feel that we drop points tonight. There's two massive reasons behind that. Number one, and you can't get away from this, we didn't play well on the night, but you cannot get away from the fact this has finished 1-1 because of a decision from a referee that we all know loves to be in the spotlight. We've spoken about him in past videos. I spoke about him earlier on when I said I wouldn't risk Suarez because of him. He is somebody in Mateu Lahoz who wants all the attention all game long, all about him. I don't know if as a kid maybe he wanted to be a footballer, he didn't quite make it, so then he thought, you know what, I'm going to become a referee because then I can get myself in the spotlight like the players and I can be just like them, because that's what it seems like. It was us against Las Palmas tonight, but it was also us against the referee Mateu Lahoz, and I do not understand where he's plucked that decision from. How on earth is that a penalty? Jonathan Calleri scores from the penalty, great penalty, but how on earth is he given that decision? How has he come to that conclusion that it's a penalty kick there? Apparently it's for a handball on Lucas Digne, but he doesn't actually whistle for the penalty immediately after that happens. He sort of waits for things to develop. There's also a potential foul on Vermaelen before that, so before you even get there he should have maybe given a foul against Las Palmas. He blows for the penalty kick, and this is when you know the referee has made a really strange decision. The crowd didn't react, they were not appealing, neither were any of the Las Palmas players, and the Barcelona players, of course they were absolutely stunned. But that's the thing about this, it's not just the penalty. There was also a moment just before half time that Ernesto Valverde was absolutely furious with, so was Vidal, so was Suarez, even though he couldn't complain because he didn't want to get booked, because we knew that certainly Lahoz would love to do that. There was a moment when the Las Palmas goalkeeper Chichizola came out of his goal, Luis Suarez in on goal, he's 1-on-1 with the goalkeeper outside the box, Chichizola comes flying out, the ball inadvertently hits his arm, but he seems to move his arm towards the ball, blocks it outside of his box. Of course he can't handle it there. Suarez otherwise would have been on goal. If Lahoz blows for that, he has to give a red card, but he doesn't. He completely ignores it. Valverde at half time was incensed by that decision, and those are two moments there, one just before half time, one just after half time, that have decided this game. We were 1-0 up. I wouldn't say we were comfortable, I wouldn't say we were playing well. I'm going to come on to that, but the overlying factor in this game is the referee has made a bad decision, just like we got caught out against Valencia with the disallowed goal, just like a few other times this season. There's been decisions where you've been thinking, how on earth is that possible? I'm maybe looking far too into it here, but there's a game coming up on Sunday in La Liga, Atletico against Barca, first versus second. I would think the league would want that game to be really tightly contested, like a title winning game, and now with this decision that gap has just been made a little bit smaller, and I just think there's a bit too much here that all leads towards that. I'm not saying there's anything big behind it, but all I'm saying is that decision from Lahoz tonight was unacceptable and nobody could understand it. There was so many different replays, different angles, even the Spanish TV directors couldn't really understand what he'd seen. Apparently for a handball, we have no idea. The yellow cards tonight were absolutely incredible. Once again, Lahoz was giving them out like sweet. 6 to Las Palmas, 3 to Barcelona. The only positive in this game, thankfully, Luis Suarez avoided a booking, but for my life of me, I don't really understand why he was starting the game, and that's what I'm going to come on to. First of all, it's the referee. It's a poor performance from him and a massively bad decision. The second thing for me is Valverde's selection. We should have come into this game following on from, let's not forget, a brilliant performance against Girona. We were so good on that day. We absolutely blew them apart. Even better opposition than Las Palmas are. Girona, far better team than Las Palmas are. We blew them apart. 6-1 it was on the night. A few days later, what Valverde should have done was taken all that confidence, all that momentum, all that good feeling and put it into this game, because that's what you want to build. When you're going into a title deciding game on Sunday evening, you want your best team turning up in confident mood, in a good momentum, in good form. Today we're going in there now with a 1-1 draw on the back of, once again, dropping points against a team that we shouldn't be doing it against. Why on earth are Paulinho and Alex Vidal starting the game? And I'm not singling them them out because I don't like them as individuals, but all I'm saying is, how many chances now have they had coming into the team, starting a game, and then 60 minutes in we're thinking, this isn't working. We all saw that at the start of the game. Paulinho, Vidal, it just doesn't work. It doesn't matter how many chances we give them, it just doesn't work. And when exactly are we going to start moving on from that? We've got 300 million euros worth of talent on that bench, Coutinho and Dembele. And yes, we bring them on later on in the game. As soon as we brought Coutinho on, there was an instant impact, even though he had to play from that right-hand side. Dembele comes on with about 13 minutes to go. How on earth can you make an impact coming on with that little time? And it's not only the fact that Dembele came on at that late stage, and it takes you about 5 or 7 minutes to even warm up and get into the flow of the game, so you've got really very little time to actually make an impact. But Dembele was actually brought on in the worst possible time in the game for him, because he came on when Las Palmas were in their own half, right in front of their own box. They were then settling for a 1-1 draw, they were taking the point, and they were so deep in the pitch. Everything that Dembele doesn't want as a player. What he wanted was what Vidal had in that first half. Every single player, like Dembele, like Vidal, with that much pace, you want to see space in behind. And Las Palmas were giving us that in the first half. They were coming out, they were playing. You know that Paco Gemes' teams will do that. So why didn't we have Dembele there in the first half, getting into those positions, getting in behind, and he could have done more than Vidal did in that time that he had on the pitch. Instead, he came on when it was too late. He had no time to make an impact. Las Palmas were deep and nothing happened. Coutinho tried his best, Suarez tried his best, and we haven't even mentioned, and it's a real shame because we're coming away from this game having dropped points, and that means that as of yet I have not mentioned the sensational free kick that it was from Lionel Messi that gave us that lead. What an unbelievable goal. And that's the thing right now with Messi, and from free kicks, it's becoming a routine. He is becoming like a free kick is almost like a penalty to him. He gets it outside the box and you just got a feeling this could end up in the back of the net, and it was an absolutely stunning strike from Lionel Messi. Really, it was an absolutely brilliant goal. But like I say, I'm so disappointed today coming away from that game. We just struggled really at any point in the game to establish ourselves. Clearly in that midfield it wasn't working. I think one of the things tonight that we really struggled to do was play out the back. Vermaelen and Umtiti defensively were okay, they weren't brilliant, but I think without Piqué today we really struggled to sort of play our way out, do our usual build up from the back. We did struggle to do that, and like I say, the selection from me, it just doesn't give you confidence. You know the way that we started the game against Girona, we were on it, we were full throttle, we were ready to go. Today I didn't get that impression. Even before the game started, we all had a feeling like, is this really what we want to be doing? Is this really a good idea? And once again, like I say, those players are getting their chances and they're not taking them. Paulinho played against Chelsea. Alex Vidal played against Chelsea. Both of them in that game absolutely didn't do anything. So why are they in the team once again? I just think Valverde at times, I'm not getting on his back, I don't hate him, I don't want Valverde out, but I just want us to start learning from these mistakes. Because like I say, ahead of an Atletico Madrid game and Chelsea, don't forget, later on this month, 2 absolutely huge games for us. We need momentum. We need confidence. It's no good playing fantastically well one week and then a few days later we fall down again, and then we've got to pick ourselves back up because we're going to be in a real game on Sunday. Atletico Madrid right now are on fire, and we in the league, of course, now, our gap between ourselves and them is definitely down. 5 points separating them. If they were to win at the Camp Nou on Sunday, 2 points would be our gap at the top. And just think, a few weeks ago we were pretty much celebrating the La Liga title. But of course, it is still on. We can still go into the Atletico game, and I've got no doubt in my mind the players should be up for it. There should be a good lineup. But all I hope is there is a good lineup. We have to go into that game, and Valverde has to get things absolutely right. Learning from these mistakes, looking at what we've got, and making sure that everybody is right for that game. But in terms of tonight's performance, like I said, guys, unfortunately, Mateu Lahoz trying to get himself in the headlines, trying to get himself in the spotlight. Eventually, even though we played bad, even though the selection certainly wasn't brilliant, we still should have won that game. We still should have won it by a goal to nil, because all he's done there is given Las Palmas a way back into the game. He's given them that penalty kick. Like I say, the fans of Las Palmas were flabbergasted. They didn't expect it. The players didn't even appeal for it, but somehow Lahoz found something. He gave that penalty. Why? None of us really know. But it was a bad performance from him tonight. It was certainly a bad performance from Barcelona. There's no getting away from that. But like I say, there's not really any time to dwell on this. There's no no time to get down about it. There's no time to feel sorry for ourselves here. We've got to get back on our feet. We've got to get on it. And we have to make sure, going into that game against Atletico, as long as we win it, we'll be okay. Make no mistake about that. There's no time right now to be panicking. We have to get all our efforts. We have to gather all of our strength, and all of that confidence has to return. We need to be at our best to face Atletico, and we need to win that game. Because, of course, if we do beat Atletico Madrid on Sunday, we will be back to 8 points clear at the top of the league. And that's what we all want. That is what we all want. A bigger gap as is possible. But we got to make sure we're at our best, because believe me, Atletico Madrid will be a very, very stern test. If we were troubled by Las Palmas tonight, we have got to wake up, and we have to wake up quickly. So leave all your comments down below, guys. What are your thoughts on the game? What are your thoughts on that disastrous night from Mateu Lahoz? The two decisions that he made, the penalty that he gave, the ghost penalty if you like, and also the red card that he failed to give to the Las Palmas goalkeeper, Chichizola. Let me know all your thoughts on that down below, and let me know your thoughts on Valverde's selection as well. Did he get it right tonight? Do you think that he should have started with some different names? What do you think about his subs? How do you feel about the way the game went? Do let me know all your thoughts down below, guys, and as always, I will be here shortly after and in the days to come with more videos. Thank you as always for joining me, even though we're not celebrating like we expected to be. But don't worry, we are still okay as long as we turn up on Sunday. But until then, as always, Vesca El Barça!